Hello, beautiful and sexy people. So, I'm here to do kind of like a catfish slash glow up video. The glow up is the makeup, as you can see.
Fat.
And then don't mind the trash in the back. And this is a wig. You can tell. Already applied like my skincare routine, skin prep or whatever. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of color correcting. But before I do this is a public announcement, a PSA, if you will. So I think the biggest two things. The biggest factor is when you're like doing kind of like a catfish slash glow up is color contacts. You can obviously tell. And then the second thing I want to address is it doesn't really matter the products that I use, as in like, for example, this is expensive, right? Versus this one, Maybelline, is not expensive. So, you know, sometimes I mix the two. Sometimes I use this one. Sometimes I use this one. It doesn't really matter the price or the products to me in my skincare, in my makeup routine, if you want to follow along, is like the order that I do my makeup. Okay, so the first thing I do is I like spot conceal because I do have acne, and then I have like terrible under eye bags, so I only use these two products. I do like the Morphe color corrector. I believe it's in Blossom, and then I have the Natasha Denona one in N3. I just put it on top of like any like blemishes that I have. And I have a lot, so like right there, gone. I used to have the Huda Beauty one, but I think like I'm using a powder puff, actually. A powder puff to blend in the color corrector to get rid of the eye bags, to look like I had like a 24-hour sleep, even though like I slept for like probably 4 hours. There we go. Then I take a brush like this, small dome brush. I got it at Shein, okay? Don't judge me. Exactly. Again, I don't really fully blend it. I don't know if you can kind of see, because it really matches my skin tone really well. So I just like tap it, but I don't really fully blend it. Okay, for foundation, I haven't really worn this foundation in a long ass time, so I'm gonna use a Superstay. Then I take a flat brush like this and I just mix it. So I kind of have it fully coated, and then I just start to, I don't really, you know how like the Asian beauty community has like those spatulas? I don't have that, and it doesn't really matter to me because I kind of want a full coverage beat down anyway, so I put it all over my face as best as I can. I like a brush like this, and I first blend my foundation with a brush, and then I go over it with a semi beauty blender. Kind of like to grab these like cushion sponges, and then I just pat everywhere to make sure I get the fullest coverage, but also making sure that I don't have like no like brush strokes. So I personally don't like bronzy contours that are more on the warm side. I tend to use something cool because contouring is to mimic the shadows, kind of like the shadow you see right here. I try to mimic that, you know, if that makes any sense. So lately I've been loving this SheGlam one. It's this is new. It's like a 2-in-1. It has two brushes, so I'm gonna use the bottom one. Oh, it's in the shade Soft Tan, so I'm gonna use the bottom one. And then I kind of like to do this and see where the bottom of my lip is, to make the illusion that my bottom lip is bigger. And then I contour, you know, like my nose and stuff. I mean, it really doesn't really matter. I don't know, I really don't know how to contour a already round nose, so no surgery or anything. Also, this is not sponsored by SheGlam or anything. I just really do enjoy their products. Plus, I am not that famous to be sponsored. And then this is the other side, which is like the original side is. And usually I kind of contour, I do like the little fishy thing. But, you know, I kind of don't do that anymore. So I still do the fish face. But then I kind of visualize where it's supposed to be. And then I just contour on slightly on top. And then a little bit here to kind of create the illusion that like my face is snatched. And then obviously because I gained a lot of weight, I kind of lost my my sharp jawline. So you kind of want to put a little bit on top of your jawline and then just blend it out. So then I'm going to take another brush like this that's flat, and then it doesn't really matter the order of like how I blend it out. So there really is like no specific order on how I blend it out or how I blend it. I just blend it how I can. I kind of blend it a little bit messy anyway, so you really can't see it because of the
excuse me, what the actual fuck?
You really can't see it because of the lighting, but I think you can kind of tell the difference a little bit here because of the shadow, like that you're catfishing and stuff. Sometimes it's filters. I do use filters. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. There, see? Boom. A semi-sharp jawline. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't really use filters. I do. I just use one filter. It's on Snapchat. And I'll share it below. Like, I'm not gonna be fake and like lie and be like, oh my god, I don't use filters. I do. We all have our insecurities. For me, it's because I gained weight. So I am on a weight loss journey. So be on the lookout for that. But at least like I'm telling you this and not like someone who lies and you can obviously tell that they're a liar. And I'm gonna use like my favorite concealer of all time has to be Miss Huda, but this is her old packaging. And I bought so many that I have like backups upon backups upon backups. So when will I ever use a new packaging? I don't know. So this is really not like, I think I picked up the fucking wrong color, but this is in the shade 2.1N. And I'm gonna start to only focus it on the center of my face. So the tiniest amount right there on my chin. And sometimes what I like to do is putting on the sides of my mouth because I do have a slight hyperpigmentation there. A little bit on top of the lip, and then a few small dots right here in my nose bridge, and then right here on the center of my forehead where my eyebrows are, and then right here. I try not to bring it up here because I don't know if you can see the color corrector is already creasing. So by the same brand, I'm gonna use a even lighter concealer. This is the lightest that they have, and it's called Whipped Cream 0.1G. I think it's gold. A little bit right there, a little bit here, and then a little bit right here. Just a tiny bit. A bit right there. Just a tiny amount just to like brighten up the place. And then I'm gonna let this sit for a bit before I put Max Fix Plus and then blend it out. So yeah, just let it marinate, or like let it cook. Now that we somewhat kind of let it marinate, I'm using the Max Fix Plus, just the center of my face. Just a little bit. And then I'm gonna use these. And then I'm gonna use these types of brushes right here. They're more tall and angled. This one is Woko. I don't know where I got this brush from actually, but it kind of reminds me of kind of like a dupe for like the Sephora one. And then this one I got it from Shein. It just says concealer brush. So I use the bigger brush for my face, and then I use the smaller brush for my under eyes, and I just blend it even more. The reason why like I kind of like using powder puffs instead of sponges, I'm gonna use the same brush, then I'm just going to tap it on to my nose bridge, and then just I try to focus it more on the center, and then gradually kind of like whatever is left kind of like blend it on top. Again, I do this on the other side. And then after like roughly blending it, I bring out the powder puff. I can do this in 30 minutes if I wanted to, but I like to take my time when I do this. Okay, after I do that, it kind of looks like I did fucking nothing. I'm gonna use these two. I think these two would be a great mix. This one is Pink Lady, and this one is Blush Lily. So you know, a little goes a long way. So I'm gonna put a small dot like that on the outer part, putting it pretty much beside it. And then I'm going to use a Real Techniques brush. I believe this is their like face brush. It's their 200 brush. So I kind of like use my fingers to kind of like reshape it so it's in this dome shape. And then I try to focus it more on the center than the outer part, because since my face is round, I don't want to make it wider. So I try to focus it under my eyes and slowly bring it forward. I try to focus it more here and then gradually shift it here. And sometimes I like to look up. After that, I like to use my Fix Plus. Just a little bit before like applying powder. So I feel like the key point to make your makeup last a little bit longer is to apply setting spray or a fixing spray. I think a fixing spray is better than a setting spray. So like a fixing spray, kind of like Fix Plus or something, or even like this before like it's empty. It's empty, I need to buy a new one, probably the bigger size version, to like fully kind of semi-drench your face, and then use a fan to dry your face. Because if you spray your face and then don't wait until it's fully dry to put powder, then you'll get patchiness all over. So just semi-wait until it's dry. In the meantime, what I like to do, I'm gonna grab the same concealer that I used to cover my dark spots, my hyperpigmentation, and my acne, and I'm gonna use this as kind of like eye base while I wait for my face to dry.
That I was taken advantage of is insane. I don't care what nobody says. I was blinded by love, and I'm gonna keep saying that.
What I love about like this like Fixing Plus is that like it makes your skin glowy. And this is a key part to kind of like not like, I use a shit ton of powder, and then this saves me from not looking too cakey. And I'm gonna use the same concealer brush that I use to conceal my under eyes, and I'm just going to blend out the creases. RCMA powder, because I think it's great. I mixed the white with the pink, but I think it's too white. Then a different powder puff. People like put a shit ton and then like I just do this, I scratch it and a majority falls off. But I just use a shit ton of fucking powder, but maybe I shouldn't do that. And then I look up and then I just press. And this time I grab more I just grab more. And then like a semi-bake around my eyes. And then I use the same powder. And then I kind of like, there, see you have the illusion of big lips? There is the illusion of the big lips. You see it, girl? Pretty much like where I put the concealer is where I'm going to put this RCMA powder. But I don't really like take out the chunks. This is why like, that's like the bad habit of mine. And then right here along the nose. It didn't record, but I kind of put a little bit right here in between the contour on the cheekbones and then on the jawline. But like, yeah, I really would not recommend like putting anything on your jaw if you're going out, because can you imagine like you kind of don't properly do it right and then it's like,
Oh my god, what the fuck do you have there? Is that, like, what kind of brown shit you have there? And it's like,
I could have swore I wiped my ass. And it's like, no, bitch, you forgot to fucking blend your contour again. Duh. So, this is one of my favorite powders in the drugstore. I do have like the Huda Beauty one, but because she's a little bit expensive, I'm gonna use this one. But same thing. Put it everywhere. This is like where the shit ton of powder comes in. When I said that I use a shit ton of powder, I really do mean that I use a shit ton of powder. I'm gonna use this old ass Morphe M527 brush, and then with this brush I just kind of like get rid of all of the powder that's like stuck on my face or whatever. I'm gonna quickly move on to bronzer slash contour powder and blush, and I'm gonna use the Curve Case by made by Mitchell, and I have it in the shade Very Light. Yeah, I do like it. The only problem is that like this is the only cool tone palette that I have when it comes to contours, because I think they're the same. So I use a mix between of these two, which is called Dune Up and Cloud Crave. And I'm using this like Morphe 105 brush. And then I use this too. Boom. Big lips over here. Then I use the same ones to contour the nose. Gonna mix those two shades. And then just slightly whatever is left on my jawline. This is a Makeup Shack brush. I honestly don't know the name of it. It's just what it is. I'm gonna use two blushes today. I'm gonna use the this is really old packaging, but this is the House Labs blush in the shade Dragon Fruit Days, which is this beautiful, gorgeous, bright pink color. And then I'm gonna use this one. I think it's by Beauty Treats. You can get this at Ross if you can. I bought this years ago, and I still have it, and the shades are like magnificent, beautiful. I think I'm gonna probably use this middle shade right here, this one right here. Slightly press it and swipe where I applied the blush, a little bit on top like that, to kind of give it like a doll look. And then a tiny amount on the chin. Okay, a little bit off camera, I like to do, because you can kind of see like the where I have acne and like the bumps and stuff. So a great kind of trick is to kind of like, I do have a lot of bumps there, but it doesn't really matter. But you can kind of see like where I put like some of them are real, where my actual beauty marks are, and some of them are just like there because, you know, acne. And then I'm gonna put Fix Plus. Try not to add too much. Okay, I did one eye off camera so you can kind of see it, but you really can't tell because of the light. But I put a lot of definition on the outer part of the eye, so it kind of looks more like a cat eye. I don't know if you can see the difference, maybe, no. But I used the Mario's Master Neutrals palette, and then I'm just gonna quickly show you like what I do. I'm gonna use a brush like this, and I'm gonna use shade number 4, which is this shade right here. I'm gonna put it like right here on the like crease in the outer corner, leaving the inner part blank. This can be messy, honestly, like it doesn't really matter. I'm only gonna use like a few shades on this palette. A brush like this, I'm gonna go over the shade 5, which is this one right here. It's like a cool tone brown. And then I'm just gonna focus it more on the outer part. And I also mix it in with the shade 11, which is this cool tone gray. And I kind of mix these two shades a little bit, because I don't want the outer part to be black, but I don't want it to be dark. Flat brush like this, and then the shade number 1, which is the like a white shade, and then I just put this in the very inner corner, and then a little bit of half of the eyelid, and then I just bring it down towards the inner part of the eye. Flat brush like this, and then the shade number 5, and then I kind of like, you can kind of see like the eye fat that I have right here. I kind of squint my eyes a bit, and then I just go over it with a super cool tone brown eyeshadow, like a dome brush like this, to kind of like blend it out. A smaller dome flat brush like this, and the shade 12, which is this black one right here, right? 12, yeah. And then I use it to kind of like emphasize the lower lashes a little bit. Top of the lash. Like that. And the same white shade. And then I just go in between the aegisol and where I applied like the black. So hopefully you can see the aegisol better. I think you can. Tiniest brush that I have, this is like a lip brush, and then it's disgusting, I know. I lick it, and then I stamp the color and the shade, and then I do my inner corner. So that's pretty much like the eyeshadow. I don't know if you can, I think you can kind of tell more on this angle. And then I'm just taking this eyeliner. I'm gonna do my eyeliner off camera. So pretty much what I do is I do a line, and then from there I go to the top of the line, and then I connect it. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I did a line like that. I don't know if you can see, but I'll try to zoom in as much as I can. So then from there, I'll go like halfway, not at the very top, but like halfway. and then I just go down. Then I connect it to the rest of the eyeliner. Two different mascaras. I'm gonna use the Voluminous from L'Oreal and the Sky High. This one's for my top, and then this one's for my lower lashes. It's like really easy to do mascara and talk at the same time. So I only add a little bit to the bottom of my lashes. This is a perfect example. So like on the back of my mascara, you can kind of see that it's a little bit dirty. So I'm just going to grab a Q-tip and I'm going to clean it. Top and bottom. There really wasn't really much to clean, but I always clean before and after I do, like when I curl my lashes with mascara, because look. There you go, they're curled. And you see how like there's, I don't know if you can see the residue, but I'll go to this cleaner side, see clean side, and then I'm cleaning it. Now you can see the mascara. So I cleaned before and after, and that's when I'll use the other side. And that's how you much avoid like ripping out your eyelashes. Because every time when I see someone like using an eyelash curler and they're like, oh, it ripped my lashes and shit, and it's like no shit. Okay, so clean side, cleaning it, see, a shit ton of gunk. Okay, so this is the side with and then without a lash. So pretty much like what I do is, holy shit, I think I dropped the lash. No. You're gonna grab the lash and cut it so it's kind of like halfway down your eye. And then what I like to do is, I don't really like to like put it where, I think you can kind of see the gap where my actual eyelashes are and then where the eyelash ends. So I kind of like to put a little bit higher and angle to kind of give the illusion of more of a siren cat eye look. But I'll be back with both lashes on. All right, so we're getting to the end of the video and I'm gonna do my current lip combo. So before I actually started this video, I actually put on this e.l.f. lip tint in the shade Plumps Up. So that's what I have right now on my lips, and then I'm going to line my lips with this NYX lip pencil in the shade Nude Beige. And I have a double lip liner, and it's really annoying because if I don't overline my lips, it looks weird. But when I do, it just seems like a botched lip filler. So and then I'm gonna use this this Juicy Lasting Tint from Ramen in the shade Bare Fig, number 28 Bare Fig. So what I do, I like to scrape as much as I can. This is me. I don't like to put on a shit ton of product. I like precision. So I'm just gonna put it on the center of my lips. And then a little bit on top. On the Cupid's bow. And then a little bit on the outer corners. Kind of like flicking them up to kind of like give the illusion that my lips are like wider and upturned. Then I'm grabbing this flat brush. It's a flat lip brush, I think. And then I just tap. I tap everything in place. And then last but not least, I use this iconic London, I think it's a lip plumper in the shade Peekaboo. I kind of got rid of the stopper because it wasn't giving me the stop. Only put gloss in the center of your lip So I don't know why the fuck it caught off, but this is my favorite highlighter. It's the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Ladybird. I know that this is my favorite one, and it fucking like rubbed off, but I already put some on. You can't even tell. So I kind of rub a little bit, and then I put it on my nose, the bridge of the nose, and then the inner corners of the eye, and then I'm gonna put it on the apples of my cheek, or like where the cheekbones are at. Okay, so I'm gonna use whatever I have left of my Milani one. So here's another angle where like you can see everything. Oh, everything. Yeah, just let me know, like, oh, I have to fucking pee. Besides that, this is what it's giving. I don't know if it looks pretty or not. But anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this video. This is like my not daily makeup routine, but it kind of is. This is what I do all the time, anytime I have to do makeup. Even with the colored contacts. Bye my beautiful sexy people.